What's up everyone, how's it going? I hope you're all doing great and you're following the 3 H's of the channel. And, what do you know? Despite everything, we got to Friday again. And you know what that means? It's time for another episode of TheLeaf podcast. In this episode, there's a variety of things to talk about, even some video game stuff, which is pretty wild. I've never talked about that on the channel before. And of course, we got some stuff about the deep sea and some other weird stuff that I'd like to get your opinions on. So without further ado, we'll just jump right into this video game thing. I can't post the trailer because of copyright reasons, so I will link it in the description below, and you can watch it if you want to. But basically, it's a game by Planet 47 Games, and it's called Bigfoot Life. Basically, what it is, it's a Bigfoot simulator. You get to play as a Bigfoot, and you can build shelters, you can store things, you can avoid hunters, you can do all that stuff. It says right here, you can catch and eat fish, insects, and other creatures. You can forage the forest for mushrooms, berries, and more. And then it also says that you can store your items in shelters to get through harsh winters, so that means that there's even like a season changing mechanic. And that's pretty wild, I think. I've even thought about in the future maybe buying the game and like streaming it with me talking over it, because it's very related to the channel and it might be a fun game, who knows. And I feel like, judging by the screenshot here of like the map and the menu and stuff, that I've played games like this or built with the same engine. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Maybe sometime in the future I'll do that, and I'll let you guys check out the trailer if you'd like to. So after that, next up is this kind of short article, and I can't post a picture because of obvious reasons, but basically, a live colossal squid was caught on camera for the first time ever. Now, I feel like I remember seeing footage of a live colossal squid before, but in this case, it's like a juvenile one. It's one that's going to grow up to be that big. It says right here, the researchers were on a 35-day expedition to a region of ocean near the South Sandwich Islands in an effort to film new species of marine life, and then they sure got what they came there for. At the time, they didn't even know that it was a colossal squid. It was only later on, when the footage was analyzed, that the significance of this clip was realized. And this is a quote directly from the speed reader version of the article I have up here. And apparently this was also sighted 600 meters beneath the surface. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but being that deep in the ocean kind of freaks me out a little bit. Not because I'm claustrophobic about like a submarine or anything. I think it's more so like it's just an endless expanse of darkness and you don't know what's out there. I figure it's like the same feeling as being out in space, and that'd be even creepier because you're not even on planet Earth, but it's the same kind of feeling. It's like an endless expanse and you really don't know what's out there. And it also says here that the Natural History Museum said about the footage, it straddles the line between legend and reality. And I think that is a quite good summation, because for the longest time, sailors would talk about, giant squid and kraken and all that stuff, and they would just be dismissed, like, oh, well, there's no proof of that. But to them, it's like, no, this is out there. They're out there. And I feel like sometimes it was almost arrogant of them to dismiss these things, because other sailors knew this for hundreds of years. And then they were dismissed in modern day because, oh, well, we never saw it. All the humans 100 years ago, 200 years ago were all stupid, and now we're the smart ones. Not knowing that in 100 or 200 years, people are going to look at us and look at how stupid we were. The only analogy I can think of is like the Star Trek movie where they went back in time, and they were posing as doctors to try and get one of their own out of the hospital, and Bones got pulled aside by this woman who was diabetic, I think, and she said that she was scheduled for dialysis, and he said, what is this, the Stone Ages? It's kind of like that, where in the future they're going to look back at us and be like, why didn't you believe in this? It's clearly there. And who knows the other things that they'll feel the same way about. But thinking that certain creatures aren't real just because we don't have video of them, that's kind of, I don't know. I feel like that we don't know what's out there, I guess. But anyway, I'm just kind of yapping along here. And this next article that I have is also pretty short, but I thought it was very interesting. Now, it could be a hyperbole, it could be him saying this just because that this is what they believe their capabilities are. But what it says is a U.S. science director claims that the U.S. can manipulate time and space. The science director for the White House, Michael Kratsios, I think his name is, was speaking at an event called Endless Frontiers, and it's a retreat that's focused on rebuilding the foundations of American strength at a time of geopolitical and technological upheaval. Now, a lot of his speech was about American scientific innovations, and basically saying that over the years that they've kind of stagnated, and they don't have these innovations like they used to. He says, quote, "We seem to have lost focus and vision, to have lowered our sights, and let systems and structures and bureaucracies muddle us along. But we are capable of so much more. Our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space. They leave distance annihilated, cause things to grow, and improve productivity." Now you can see how people that talk about what I talk about would find that quote to be a little odd. So what do you think? Do you think that the US has some kind of technology that can manipulate time and space, or in this case, manipulate distances that can cause things to grow? Now, if I were to dig really deep into that, it would almost seem like he's talking about terraforming, and maybe even possibly other planets, but that'd be really digging into what he's saying and reading into it. But of course, let me know what you think. That's the main reason why I picked this, is because I wanted to ask all of you, do you think that there is some kind of technology out there that can manipulate time and space like that? And I know that there are lots of conspiracy theories and other theories, I guess, maybe not conspiracies, but they're crazy theories that say that we got fiber optic and laser technology from a downed UFO. And the reason why I say that is because what I have next is apparently a CIA document. At least it might be them. Either way, it was approved for release in May 2000, and I think that the event, or at least the original document, was recorded on the 27th of March 1993 in Kiev. So it starts like this. U.S. intelligence obtained a 250-page file on the attack by a UFO on a military unit in Siberia. The file contains not only many documentary photographs and drawings, but also testimonies by actual participants in the events. One of the CIA representatives referred to this case as a horrific picture of revenge on the part of extraterrestrial creatures, a picture that makes one's blood freeze. According to the KGB materials, a quite low-flying spaceship in the shape of a saucer appeared above a military unit that was conducting routine training maneuvers. For unknown reasons, somebody unexpectedly launched a surface-to-air missile and hit the UFO. It fell to Earth not far away, and 5 short humanoids with large heads and large black eyes emerged from it. It is stated in the testimonies by the 2 soldiers who remained alive that after freeing themselves from the debris, the aliens came close together and then merged into a signal object that acquired a spherical shape. That object began to buzz and hiss sharply, and then became a brilliant white. In a few seconds, the sphere grew much bigger and exploded by flaring up with an extremely bright light. At that very instant, 23 soldiers who had watched the phenomenon turned into stone poles. Only 2 soldiers who had stood in the shade and were less exposed to the luminous explosion survived. The KGB report goes on to say that the remains of the UFO and the, quote, petrified soldiers were transferred to a secret scientific research institution near Moscow. Specialists assume that a source of energy that is still unknown to Earthlings instantly changed the structure of the soldiers' living organisms, having transformed it into a substance whose molecular composition is no different from that of limestone. A CIA representative stated, "If the KGB file corresponds to reality, this is an extremely menacing case. The aliens possess such weapons and technology that go beyond all of our assumptions. They can stand up for themselves if attacked." So now I ask what you think about that. Do you think it was true? Or do you think that it was part of this information war that was going on between the Soviet Union, or the KGB, and American intelligence? One of the weird tidbits from this that I think is the fact that these short little aliens, possibly greys, have like a self-destruct sequence, which in my opinion would imply that they're kind of like a biological machine. Or maybe it's just some kind of weird defense mechanism, if it's even true at all, because it's very fantastical, and just because it's a CIA document, it doesn't mean that it's 100% truth, especially since I just said that there was like an information war going on. And I wish I could remember where I found this, but I just found it on an old hard drive in a random folder. And I have like other random RCMP documents about Bigfoot and stuff in there too, but I was going through them and I found this particular one. So let me know what you thought about it. Do you think that this happened? Do you think that they have these weird self-destruct things? Do you think that maybe a surface-to-air missile could down a UFO? As always, let me know down in the comments. And this next story seems to be about a doppelganger, but let me know what you think about it afterward. When I was 11 years old, maybe 12, I was walking to a corner store to get an ice cream. I saw a kid my age that I didn't recognize. This was odd because it's a small town, and we really just all know each other. The kid looks very sickly, hunched over, and has a similar haircut and body type to myself, minus the apparent poor health. I avoid him. I'm not used to talking to kids that I haven't already met through school. Plus, he sets me on edge for some reason. I'm socially awkward in general, but usually only around people I don't know. But this is different. I maneuver past him, avoiding him as subtly and yet effectively as possible, which is difficult to do, considering that he is no more than 5 feet from the entrance to the store. I choose my ice cream. I overhear a rasping cough from outside, presumably from the kid. I leave the store and look around. The kid is now staring at the rubbish bin. I think, okay, that's weird. I hear a rumble from the clouds overhead. It's still daylight, and it hasn't begun to rain yet, so it's not a problem. And then I hear a loud smack. The kid has fallen down, fainted, although I'm still not completely sure what happened. He hit his head on the side of the metal bin. I go to run back inside to get the storekeeper, but for some reason, the store is now closed. This is odd to me. I realize that I'm going to have to help the kid. I go to check and see if he's conscious to help him up. The kid gets up on his own just as I was about to reach him. He looks at me and starts grinding his teeth very loudly. I crap myself when I see that. Aside from the dark red gash in his temple, he isn't just similar in appearance to me, but my dead freaking ringer. This really sets off all my alarm bells. I start to walk away, slowly at first, reaching as fast a walk as I can manage without making it obvious that I was terrified. I hear a loud thunderclap that makes me double crap myself. I keep my eyes in front of me. I have no idea if he's following me. It starts to rain. This is my perfect excuse to start running. At some point I slip. I land on my right knee so hard that I can feel the stress on the bones upon collision. I can't feel any pain. All I can think is that the kid must be still following me. Finally, I get home. It takes twice as long as it should have because of my screwed up knee. I look around. I see nobody, but the rain is falling fast now and visibility is poor. I can't shake the feeling that he followed me home. Then I get to thinking, he knows where I live. I get inside. Mom instantly screams when she sees me. I look down. My knee and the surrounding skin is literally black with bruising. The pain hits me. Fast forward 3 days later. I'm lying in bed with a cast on. It turns out the bone was partially broken right below the knee. This particular day, I hear it start to rain again. I pull the curtains across slightly, just enough to see the window to the rain. I love the rain, despite what has happened to me. Through all the trees in our front yard, I'm just able to make out a kid on the footpath, looking at the house. But he doesn't see me. He turns and walks away. I never saw the kid again, or my doppelganger, I guess it is now, but I was terrified for the rest of the year. So I would say that is definitely one of the creepiest doppelganger stories I've ever read. Besides everything else, there's something creepy to me about going to a store and then buying something and turning around and the store is either closed or just not there anymore. That's like a fear of mine almost, is that I'll go to this store that kind of gives liminal space vibes. I'll buy something, then leave the store, and then I'll turn around and the store's just abandoned or something, and then I'll look at what I bought and it just it's all dusty and shit, or doesn't make any sense. I don't know, that's just a weird kind of fear of mine, even though it's goosebumps to your stuff, but still, I mean, it'd be even worse meeting my own doppelganger. That's not something I'd ever want to do, and let me know if you've ever met your doppelganger down in the comments. I've heard that you're not supposed to touch them or really interact with them and then they'll go away, but I don't know, in some other stories they seem to come after people. So, yeah, as always, let me know what you think. And with that, I think I will leave it off here. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. There was a lot of things in this episode that we went over. So if you enjoyed this episode, then make sure to like and subscribe and favorite the video and comment and all that great stuff. If you would like to donate to the channel, I have a PayPal and a Patreon in the description below, as well as an email that you can send your story to. And here on YouTube, there's super thanks and memberships. So far, the memberships are just general support, and you also get a little tiny Bigfoot badge that I made down below your name. So, with that, I thank you for watching the video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you for pulling up a stump, and have a good weekend, and let's hope next week is even better.